This is Un Atout from Willie Mullen's yard. Mark, the bookmaker's always out to get the favourite in the first race, and they've been successful in the last 8 years. The last 8 favourites in this race have been turned over. Do you think it'll be 9 this year?
I don't think there's any value at all. I think I was offered the chance of backing this at 6 to 4, getting a flu jab from Harold Shipman. I was like, be careful with the fucking needle, doctor. You know, as you said, the last favourite to win the race was Brave Inca back in 2004. It's a fucking graveyard, you know. It's a different test. It's one with 10 stone 9 that race there. I mean, they were going in deeper there than Fred West. I mean, it was awful round here. It's going to be a totally different test at Cheltenham. We'll not certainly get them up the hill. It's an absolutely crazy price. I don't fancy jet ski neither. Finished 9th last year in a bumper. Sorry, 8th of 20 in a bumper last year. Jesse had one last year called Steps of Freedom. The poor Irishman who backed it was called Steps to Doing Their Bollocks, I'm afraid. Can't be having that. I like Nicky Henderson, the second string, was called River Maid. By Zagreb. I think he wants a really strongly run 2-mile race. Got beaten first time over hurdles by Dodging Bullets. I don't think that will ever beat him again. Dodging Bullets ran well in a Christmas hurdle. He's around 12 to 1. He got beaten in Egg and Spoon Race the other day at Aston. Yeah, Far West beat him. They went no pace at all. It turned into a sprint, and Nicky Henderson wasn't best pleased with Barry that day, so I heard. It was a farce of a race. He wants a strongly run 2 miles. I just think the favourite's an awful price. I mean, everyone's going to try and get him. And, you know, it's a different test, totally different test.
Okay, thanks very much, Mark. Davy, you probably ride Un Atout here for the all-powerful Willie Mullen stable at the moment. I mean, he's going to have 4 or 5 in it. But this is a horse that you really like, Davy.
Yeah, I tell you, if River May wins and Supreme Novices Hurdle, I get sick. I'm actually getting sick talking about him. And nothing against the horse or the owners or the trainer or anything, but he's by Zagreb. And for me, that now is more likely than, I don't know, than anything. Zagreb just can't possibly win any description of a race at Cheltenham. My own horse is a good horse. He's got very inexperienced, and I suppose, you know, that probably is the thing about him. I'm not too bothered about the company he's been keeping or the way he's been winning these races, because, you know, we do think he's very good, and the only thing I'm worried about is his experience.
Okay, Andrew, what's your view of the race? I mean, it really is a hot contest this year.
I can't see anything else beating my 10th or yours. A hack up in a competitive handicap in Newbury, could have won way further. Seeing how good Darren, he was only touch off last year after falling in the same race. Obviously, the man won it this year, so I think my 10th or yours is a certainty.
Brian, would you agree with that? I mean, he's rated 162. I mean, there's horses that won champion hurdles off a similar mark.
Yeah, he was very impressive in Newbury. I was just looking through the history of this race last night actually, and McGuinness has a terrible record in it. He won it with Captain CB, but and he won it with Like a Butterfly, but she was very lucky to win that day. There was a horse fell at the last, Adam had approached him. He's had Finnegan's Hollow, Cardinal Hill, Joe Mack, You'll Never Walk Alone, Strawberry, Binocular, Enama, Get Me Out of Here, and Darlan, all beaten in the last 10 years or 15 years. That said, you know, it's hard to get away from looking at the Newbury race. Un Atout was a big price now. His form has probably got a bit of a dent today with Wahid, but he won the bumper last year, and a lot of people might argue he's in the wrong race and he's only in this race because they've got another one for the Neptune. But Champagne Fever, to me, looks a good each way bet at 16 to 1. You know, he'd gallop to the line. You know, Ruby possibly will be riding him, so the 16 to 1 mightn't be there on the day.
Is there a quote on the filly? Is there anyone from Paddy Powers here? Or is there a quote on the filly that won the other day?
No, on any power.
No,
not yet. I'd say about 25s.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Ruby picks anything over her.
Well, Willie really thinks she could be anything. Yeah. Interesting to see if she does actually.
It's the price of Champagne Fever. If you look at Jetski 4 to 1, Champagne Fever 16 to 1, there wasn't much distance between the Fairyhouse, and that was Champagne Fever's first run of the year. And you know, Cheltenham, people say Gold Cup horses, staying horses can't win this race, but if you look at the record books, you have War of Attrition, Kicking King, Best Mate were all placed in this race. So sometimes it does take a horse with a bit of stamina to win it. So Champagne Fever, I think it's 16-1 is a good each way.
Well, it's interesting, the pecking order down in close up in Willie Mullen's stable, but the three horses that are next to each other are Hurricane Fly, Sur des Champs and Un Atout. So you'd be delighted to hear that, Davy. So that's he considers him very, very highly.